Hello fellow gamers and welcome back to LORED. In the last episode we kind of went a bit crazy with some of the upgrades and managed to automate pretty much every single LORED that we have except for the Malignancy LORED. Now this Malignancy LORED does need another 5 levels if we did want to automate that, but we're not going to do that today. What we're going to do is we are going to start off with the Prestige. So having a look here, that we did see in the last episode, we maxed out as much as possible. I was thinking that the juice pot tab wouldn't be reset on this Prestige. However, looking at it now, when I clicked on it, it does look like that's going to reset the progress as well. But the good thing is, it won't take too long to get where we are now, simply because we've doubled up the output and input, so that's going to be half the time it's going to take. We've also got concrete doubled up, which was a bit of a bottleneck in here and there. And then also we've got all of the iron and copper upgrades that we can, which means that they're going to be so much faster, which means we're going to be able to level up the base level loads much quicker. Also, we've updated the cash and the gems on this one, so this is going relatively fast, so that when we've kind of upgraded these kind of microtransactions, Wheel of Money, 3 days early access, because we've upgraded them as well in this Prestige, that just means that we are going to get things a lot quicker. So what we're going to do is we are going to reset again. Let's see where we are now. This time around, we already have levels in iron, raw iron, coal, and that's because last episode we did set up the automation. Once they're automated, they're basically good to go. So as you can see here, I'm not really clicking and they've already leveled up. But I am going to speed things up a little bit, and I am going to kind of level these up just so they go a little bit faster. The way the conditions work on the auto leveler is it is kind of like dependent on some of these safety wheels. So we don't have enough materials to kind of max out the safety wheels. So because of that, it is not auto leveling. It's getting things started, but it's not doing things as quickly as I like it. So I'm going to keep an eye on this and just keep leveling up things. These are taking no time at all just to kind of level up. This one's going to take a few minutes, but you know, as we seen last time in the Prestige, it takes no time whatsoever to level up. We are going to go back up to the start and make sure that we are kind of leveling up, maxing out all of these ones, just to make things easier. It's just a case of just clicking everything. These are going relatively fast, doesn't take long at all. We'll be done in this in no time. As you can see here, these just take absolutely no time whatsoever to level up. And then once we leveled up, we should be able to kind of level up these. We already started growth, that kind of automatically leveled up for us. Let's get tarbles next. Oh, or oil will work. Tarball. And what do we need? We just need a little bit more to get the iron and copper to have enough to start on the malignancies. So we're just going to kind of play through, just kind of like keep clicking when we see something that we can click and level up. And before you know it, we will be back where we started. As you can see here, there's just so much things to click on. And you see we already have 25. We have literally spent a few seconds and we're just clicking and clicking and clicking. And as you can see here, we are a little bit down on jewel and growth. So let's have a look to see where we are with those. There we go, growth. Make sure that is getting leveled up. This is almost done with the actual concrete. Let's make sure we're leveling up concrete. And you just see a spot, we click it. See a spot, we click it. That's all we're doing. And before you know, we will be back. A few clicks later, I have kind of developed somewhat of a carpal tunnel with all the clicking. We are back to where we were last Prestige in the generation. We have maxed out everything in the Firestarter upgrade. That didn't take too long, minus the 2 that's still locked. We've got quite a few unlocks on the juice pot maxed out. We are waiting a little bit on the crazy amount of coal that we need for this second stomach to be maxed out. But, 1.3 quadrillion is only going to take 24 minutes. Wild. We have a few more oil that we need to get in order to max out the juice fill amount. And then we're also pretty close to getting the raw materials to max out minimum juiced input as well. Then we have some of these already maxed out. And then we're kind of waiting on these 3. These 3 look like it's going to be the next unlock. So once we get these going, I think it might be contingency. Contingency is probably going to unlock this next one directly below. So in the malignant upgrades, malignancy does take a little bit of time to level up. It has been one of our slowest ones, with it being the top LORED. So we haven't really gained anything here yet. That will come in time. Before we prestige, it was looking at this was the next main upgrade. We'd got this down to 1 day. So what we're going to plan to do now is try and get this malignancy LORED up to 25. That means that this is going to be so much quicker to get to. And then while we're doing that, we're also going to try and focus on coal, stone, and growth. So on these, what I have done is I've done ignore conditions. So as soon as we have enough stone available to upgrade growth, we will do. Same with the stone. That is also set to ignore conditions. We haven't done coal yet, but I think we will. That is going to be a similar thing because it's going to bounce between these 2. So we need, a little bit of stone for that one, a little bit of stone for that one, and it's going to be back and forth. That's why I didn't have coal on ignored conditions first, because I wanted to focus on growth. There was a time where the tarball and oil in malignancy was affecting the growth. It was in the minus for quite some time. Given that each upgrade is adding up to about 33 to 40 million growth, this is such a fine number where every time we upgraded something, it would go into the negative. So I kind of left that off for now, but I've just kind of turned that on now that we're in a good space with the growth. And what will happen is this will just kind of toss between this one and this one. Okay, now it's taken about 12 trillion to upgrade that, which is fine. And this one's taking 4.6 trillion. So this will level up first, and then it'll be more stone. This will level up next, and then it'll need more stone. Okay. We have been kind of working on some of these squirtlings. We now are up to 48. It's taken a long time to get the cash and the gems now. All of these upgrades are taking hours for each and every single one of them. So back to the juice pot, which is kind of going to be where we're going to focus a lot of our time on. 7 more minutes for the blur to go up a level, which is awesome. This is coming up super close, so let's kind of wait on that one. What I might do is, just because I still want to focus on the growth, so I'm going to take that off for now. That is up to level 20, so we're creating 34 million a second. Where are we with this? So that's only going to take a few more seconds to upgrade. We can get that up to 20. That knocks down the malignant upgrade, so that only needs 1 day. We can get that up to 21. It's going to take 12 hours. 22 is going to take 6. 23 is going to take 3. 24 is going to take an hour and a half. 25 is going to take 45 minutes. And I think that's a good point to kind of like unlock. Just to see what happens. Now, I think when we do unlock it, I don't think we have to prestige in order to see this next upgrade, but I would like to kind of get that done by the end of this episode. Now, it looks like something else upgraded before we got this up to level 20. So I wonder if it's one of these. Just looking at it now. Something did definitely upgrade. before I had a chance to click on this. So let's kind of wait on this. 15 seconds to go. With the juice, things do speed up, so it's not a true 15 seconds. It's 15 seconds providing the juice doesn't work, from what I've been seeing. There we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and upgrade. Right. Okay. So yes. So back to 1 day on this. This is where we were at just before we prestiged. So we've already got malignancy up to a level up where we're doing 114 million per second. Right. A few more seconds for this. Could upgrade. I think it's probably worth upgrading. It does take a few seconds. Let's just force that. Like I say, growth is kind of okay. I am trying to kind of rush these upgrades just so we can get to that prestige even quicker. And then bop. And let's have a look at this. 5 more seconds for that. And there we go. So that's another one. That's 11 of 26 of the juice box already maxed out. 5 more minutes for that. 8 more minutes for that. 47 more minutes to get this one going as well. These ones are going to take a little bit more time. Now I don't want to max out this one quite yet, because if we do, that's going to reset our coal, which will kind of reset that. I kind of want to focus on this one, but we will see. Just click, click, and click. I don't want to do this one because that is going to put the growth into the minimum, like into the negative. I'm not quite ready for that yet. Things are starting to slow down, so I think it is time that we kind of take a little break, let this run for a couple hours, and then once we get close enough to kind of get things kind of going, I really want to see, once we hit this contingency, if that is going to unlock this next node on the upgrade tree. As well, I'm going to focus on the malignancy to try and get this down to that. And then once we get both of those done, we'll jump back into it and get straight on.
Much later.
Now that we have enough for contingency, let's see where that one gets us. Because the malignant upgrade is going to take a little bit more time. We are kind of really slowing down on those upgrades for that. Basically what we're finding is that as much as, I mean, we've leveled it up 3 times now since before, and it is coming in quick, but because of how much kind of resources it needs to upgrade these and get like kind of what we need to upgrade the juice part, I think we'll just kind of let that run as itself. So unlocking contingency does unlock what? Infected with what? Percy gains the ability to brew rage juice. He will not do so if the current amount of juice is below the target amount. If there is sufficient rage juice available, lords will drink, becoming enraged for 6 seconds, the effect of which may be viewed in the details widget on the right. Okay, so we are going to need, wow, we're going to need a lot of resources. It's going to take a full hour to get that upgraded. So that's going to take a little bit of time. While we're waiting on that, we can kind of look towards kind of getting this one, which is going to unlock. Square Enix is no longer disappointed with the sales of any of their games. Okay, so all we can do now is kind of just hang tight, try and make sure that we're kind of just upgrading malignancy as best as possible. Almost there on the next upgrade, so that's good. That's coming up close. How far are we off with iron? 3 minutes for iron, 3 minutes for copper. So these are going to take a little while. We need to upgrade those so that we can get the next kind of infected rage juice. I have a feeling that it's going to be a very similar progression as the kind of the normal green juice. That is going to be very slow to begin with until we get the upgrades. These kind of look like these are going to be either rage juice or just the regular juice based on their color. So basically that'll be the first one which will unlock. I don't know, let's have a look at how it worked up here. So we unlock that. It's probably going to be like kind of output or something, and then kind of working from there. Yeah, we've got 22 more minutes to get that malignant upgrade. See, the progression per prestige is taking a long time. I don't know why it keeps on saying prestige tier 1. So I wonder if there's a different type of prestige further down the road. Just because every time we have prestiged, I was assuming after the first prestige it would say a different tier every time, but it doesn't look as though that's the case. We almost have malignancy kind of automated as well, or available to automate. That does stick around per prestige, so that'll come in handy for when we get up to at least level 25 and get to the next prestige when we do that. There's not really a lot that we can do right now. We are just kind of at the mercy of time. You say it's going to take a little bit more time to kind of upgrade both roided and blur. I have been upgrading blur like little bits in between, but 100 QA, 100 quadrillion coal. I mean, we are producing a lot and it is pretty quick, but still, that's a long time off getting that kind of that sort of numbers. So I think now we just kind of wait to see what happens and kind of take it from there.
Later that same evening.
Now that we have enough malignancies, we can level up this purpose. Let's see what that unlocks next. Okay. Finally, it's grown on me. This effect is equal to Percy's level. Maximum output times 1 for iron and copper. So that's going to take 100 QI, which is going to take 2 centuries to level up. Now, although we do finally have unlocked the upgrade that we needed to get back to this is going to take a long time to do. So I think what we need to do is we need to kind of let this kind of run its course. When I wake up in the morning, we'll kind of let it run kind of overnight, see where we get to just by giving it a few hours, get a little rest, let the game play out itself. Let's actually give it the idle name that it really is for the gameplay. And then when we come back in the morning, we can see exactly where we are. Wait. Reading this again. This seems more broken than the initial coal multiplier that we had on the first prestige. The output will be multiplied by 2 times the number of 0.1 seconds less than the maximum haste rolled. And that's every single juice that we have. So if we look at it, we see how much times we use juice. Now this is creating, it looks like around 10 to 15 trillion per ping. So if we get a low roll on the juice, let's take 10 trillion for example, that's going to be 260 trillion just for that. And if it criticals, that's 1.5 times that. That's 390 trillion just for one thing from, it's almost 40 times just by using the juice. So what I'm thinking is because we have everything automated now and it automatically activates as it goes, I think we prestige right now, then we take a nap, then we see what happens with that. So let's kind of do it. Let's prestige. Okay. See, all of these are going to be automated. So all of these are going to run. So while those are running and leveling up, I'm going to start leveling up all of these. Start with them, and then that, and then we've got that. See, we're already leveling up these so quick, and we can just keep on doing that. And while I'm leveling up the upgrades, in the background, all my laws are going to be upgrading as well. And we unlock that. And then let's just speed things up a little bit here. Bap, bap, bap. Bap, 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 bap. We can just get all of these going. And then all of these are going to upgrade and upgrade and upgrade. And then we try to get juice unlocked as quickly as possible. Right, it's basically just trying to find the upgrades at this rate. What's this one? We unlocked? Oh, it's okay. It's just another squirtling there. Another 3 upgrades. We now have those maxed out. We're getting more and more raw materials. This is going to take a little bit of time. Let's make sure we're leveling up these quicker. I think what we do now is we just literally turn everything into ignore conditions. So we just ignore conditions, and get all of these up to ignore conditions, and then they will just level up the second that these become available. Might cause a little bit of issues with the way that these levels work, but hey, let's do it. There we go. Oil's unlocked, so let's just click that. So we have all of these automated now. Oh, there's another one that just unlocked. So yeah, so all of these ignore conditions, and as soon as they're available, they'll unlock. Much needed critical chance. Let's get all of these leveled up. It's going so fast. Already getting a couple of levels in cheeks. That's maxed out pretty much straight away. And then these are going to be quick. Let's go back up here. Max out the raw materials. Let's get shovel kind of maxed out when that's available, which is not yet. And already these are just, see, it keeps resetting because of the ignore conditions on the automation, but as soon as we get this one, let's make sure we can level that up, and then we can turn that on. And there we go. So now we have all of these force upgraded. So as soon as something becomes available to upgrade, it's going to level up. And then we can get all of these. And these are just going to come fast. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to max out these fire starter upgrades. And then as soon as the juice comes available, I'm going to unlock that. And then eventually we can get this kind of happening as soon as possible. So give me a second, let's get all of that done and get that all leveled up ready.
7:59 a.m.
Morning everyone. One nap later, we seem to have got quite a lot of resources. As you can see here, things leaving this idle overnight is kind of increased these quite a lot. I mean, coal right now is producing 18 quadrillion a second. Stone is almost 2.5 quadrillion a second. So we're kind of going pretty strong now. Now I think that because of this purpose perk, I think we're actually way ahead of what we would have been if we just kind of went to bed last night. So I'm happy we kind of did that before we kind of left the game to run idle for a little bit. Going from, I think it was something along the lines of 1,000 eons, which I don't even know what kind of time that would have been, for getting grown on me leveled up. It's now up to 198 days. So we have got an extremely exponential growth on where we are right now. One thing that we did unlock overnight, just with how many kind of resources we have been gathering, we've got way more. We have created enough materials to unlock the rage juice. So I see this is unlocked a lot, and already with how much we've been earning, we have a lot here. So let's have a look where we're going. So I'm freaking mad. Maximum rage duration +1. Okay, let's get that. See, yeah, so the red ones are going to be rage, and then the green ones are going to be normal juice. So we can kind of just level up these. Maximum juice haste, rage duration, juice haste, enraged output. We can get 3 levels of that. More juice haste. We can get a couple of levels of that one. Enrage hit. Oh, it looks like we are using stone for something. I'm assuming it's just in the background. So let's see if we can get that this time. Okay. So enraged haste. See, these are just going real fast. Juice filament ×2. Now this is going to take 10 millennia to get that level up. Okay, so a little bit of that. 110,000 eons to get that. That's a lot. Okay, so we'll just keep on leveling as these kind of become available. Let's have a look. So now we're producing -1 a second. Okay, so that's going to take a little bit more time to kind of level up on that one. As you can see here, we have, it looks like rage is, let's have a look at that. So when we kind of, I'm just going to keep an eye on the oil and see what happens when we kind of produce that. So raging, you see, raging lasts while the other juice is working. So that's pretty cool. So we have kind of grown how fast we grow. Well, basically how fast we use materials. So we'll keep leveling that. We've already got all levels in that one. So we've kind of maxed out Eternal Wrath. Even longer duration. So that looks like 3 seconds now it lasts. Okay, let's get this leveled up. Taking a little bit longer for some reason. What I did notice is that this timer for each of these upgrades isn't necessarily correct. I think what the time does is it does factor in the kind of the juice, the speed ups, all of that kind of stuff, and I think what it does is it kind of averages. So like one thing that I was noticing is like sometimes 10 seconds would be about 30 seconds because, you know, bad luck, it wasn't triggering. Other times 10 seconds was about 3 or 4 because, you know, they triggered so often in the kind of luck thing. So I think what it is because of the purpose perk, because this is anywhere from like 2 to 26 times output, it's making those numbers a little bit wonky. So that's just basically what I've seen. So it's not true, it's a basic indication, but not a full indication. But oh look, already just creating those rage juice has went down from 198 days, I think it was, down to 5. So we're already speeding up things. And then that's just also going to get faster as soon as we can get the malignancy up graded as much as we can. So it's level 33 right now. So by the time we get to about, 35, 36, we're going to be looking a lot better in terms of getting that next perk done. So I'm really curious to see what It's Grown on Me does, because it does kind of unlock this down here. It looks like it could be something to do with automation, just based on that cursor, that little kind of yellow kind of arrow. You can see here it's the same as these ones, so I wonder if it's got something to do with that. We'll just have to wait and kind of find out what's. And then these are just going up so quick right now. The longer this is, the better. It seems like it is working really well. We also have another upgrade in the cash shop. I have been slowly but surely kind of making some of these squirtlings, but 53 right now, it does kind of speed up the kind of the cash flow, which is good, which I have been kind of doing. And I think, given that we are making 21 million, let's see what happens here. Let's blast a couple of them. And we haven't seen this in a little while. We haven't kind of checked in on this, but just all the ones that we've gathered so far, we still have some missing. I'm just going to kind of scroll through these. Don't want to spend too much time on them. See, some of these have kind of leveled up. It's not a case of like every time you unlock one, you get a new one. Common squirtlings are almost done. We have one more left of that one. We have been getting a few special squirtlings. Amabel is up to level 2 there on that one. Lola's up to level 3. We also have a couple of rare, not very many, and we still are missing legendaries. I would love to see what the legendaries are, just because you can see the output here is quite a lot. Also the multipliers on that one as well. So kind of just going to keep kind of filtering through those as they come in. And we're already pretty maxing some of these out. We're 20 of 26 on the upgrades so far. And this has already went down to 2 centuries, 323 eons. So that's gone down as well. So that's kind of like already kind of speeding through this. See, Malignancy is already up to 35. It doesn't take long at all to kind of level up things now. This Rage Juice has really, really helped out, and it is just kind of speeding through things. And look at that. Already, this might take a little while. See, now we're in, quintillions, sextillions. The numbers are growing massively. And all of this is pretty much going to be maxed out soon enough. 1 minute to get 102 quadrillion growth. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to this. What I'm going to do is going to call this episode for today. Once we get kind of going in the next episode, what I'm going to do is I'm going to really kind of like focus on getting It's Grown on Me kind of leveled up. And then we're going to investigate and see what happens when we get this unlocked. And then hopefully we can see what this new material is in the next episode and kind of investigate that. I am still curious about this Joy and Grief. I think maybe It's Grown on Me might have something to do with that, but we'll find out next episode. So thanks again if you've kind of followed me through up to this point, and I will see you guys in the next one.